Hey everybody, I hope you're having a great day so far. Today we're going to give a brief overview of travel nursing. Okay, so obviously a travel nurse is a nurse by default. So whether that be an RN or an LVN, and typically a travel nurse is somebody from out of the area. So they're traveling from, where they live at home to where they're working. So for me, for example, I traveled from New Jersey and now I'm working in California. Other times you'll hear what's called a local traveler. So they'll live in the area, but they'll travel from hospital to hospital working contracts. So when I explain what a travel nurse is to patients and families, because a lot of times that'll come up, I basically say that, a travel nurse is more or less a substitute teacher in a sense, because you are there for a short amount of time, and basically you are the band-aid of whatever staffing problem that the hospital might have, whether that be because a bunch of people retired or transferring out, or there's people on maternity leave, or they can't give everybody the vacations they want, or maybe they've hired people but they just need some time to orient them. You're basically brought in for these quick fix for staffing. And what makes travel nurses really marketable is the fact that they're able to only have 1 day, 2 day orientations and really hit the ground running, because that's just kind of what travel nurses do. They are experienced. They have been through many different hospitals, many different ways of doing things. So they kind of just go with the flow. So a lot of times, that's what appeals to hospitals. They don't really have to spend all of that time and energy and money into training them, because they're there for a short period of time. They're able to pick it up really quick, and their staffing issues are fixed pretty quickly. These contracts that I'm talking about, usually they'll be the standard one is typically like 13 weeks or so, or 3 months. And what that'll do is that'll give the travel nurse some flexibility so that they're not locked into a specific place for too long. And it also gives the hospital somewhat of a cushion, because they're not going to need to train you and then all of a sudden you're gone. So we answered the question as to why a hospital might need travel nurses, but the reason that a nurse might want to become a travel nurse is a little bit different. The first reason typically is for the thrill of excitement and getting new experiences. Travel nursing will allow you a lot of flexibility to travel to new places and work at different hospitals, get different experiences, whether that be within the facility or outside the facility. So on your off days, you can explore the certain areas and be touristy and all that stuff. And then other times, inside the facility, you are exposed to different patient populations and levels of care and different specialties and services. So it really provides a well-rounded experience for you, both in and out of work. The second reason is really the money, because a lot of times people at full-time staff positions are, they're not making really as much as they might want, and for as hard as they work. So it adds a lot of earning potential, because you're not stuck to whatever your union says, if you're lucky enough to have a union, or your percent increase based on your evaluation, if you even get a percentage increase each year. So it really allows you to increase your earning potential, because every 13 weeks you are renegotiating a contract and trying to bump your pay up if you can, obviously. Playing the field and trying to see what's out there. But you have more opportunities to grow as a person, as a nurse, and also grow your bank account. So those are really the two big reasons. There's obviously other ones like, not getting involved in the unit politics and the drama, because, you're just like, I'm just here to work. It doesn't bother me. None of this bothers me. You kind of are able to have a little bit of a more of a stress-free environment, because you don't find yourself personally attached to any of the issues or what have you that's going on, because the phrase that a lot of travel nurses will say is, I can do anything for 13 weeks. And it's, even if it's a bad assignment, you're just like, I can do anything for 13 weeks. I can do, anything for 12. And as the contract goes on, the counter still continues to go. So, like I said, it really, really builds you in many different ways. And, a lot of people enjoy that. And if they're able to, have the flexibility and don't have anything that's really tying them down, then, they can go about doing that. And a lot of times people travel with families, with significant others. They make it work, whether that be, traveling in an RV, or, husband or wife's job is remote and they want to homeschool the kids, while they're little, and then, maybe they're looking to settle down somewhere down the line. Or I've met a bunch of different people that have, made travel nursing work for them and their living situation and what they value, and kind of the way that they want to go about living their lives. And, that's really what I think draws a lot of people to this specific niche, is the fact that you get to direct everything that is happening to you. And, it allows you a lot of more freedom based on, what your risk tolerance and what you're willing to do with your life. So I guess the last thing I'm going to address is the qualifications for a travel nurse. And a lot of times it's going to be up to the facility and what they're willing to accept. Certain places, they are going to need more experience. They're going to, ask for more things in terms of, some places, 6 months is enough. Some places, 1 year is enough. Other places they're looking for, 4, 5, 6 years. And it's all dependent on the unit and kind of what the manager is looking for. But, that's case by case. I would say for a general benchmark would be about 1 to 2 years in your specialty. But it all depends on what you personally feel, and, how comfortable would you be with only having, 1 to 2, at most, 1 week of orientation before you are kind of cut loose and working on your own. So I think some of it has to do with what the hospital is willing to accept, but I think a lot of it is a internal, reflecting and trying to figure out, can I handle this? Because once you're there, you're kind of, hitting the ground running, and you're, really in the trenches. So I think a lot of it has to do with your personality and, what you are willing to say is your personal experience, because I think that's what's going to matter most than, being able to become a travel nurse, because if you're able to be a travel nurse, that's fine. But the thing is, are you going to enjoy it? Are you going to be stressed out thinking that you're not ready? And I think that is the biggest thing is, once you meet the 1 year mark, after that, everything after that is kind of, am I ready to do this? And the only person that's really going to answer that is you. And that's kind of where I'll leave that. It's going to be more personal reflection more than anything that anyone else is going to tell you. So, yeah. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to my channel. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on social media or leave a comment below. And until next time, take care, be good.